Hey folks, so I want to talk about Rinsen's attitude really quickly. So Rinsen is a dude who plays stuff like Solo Poppy, Toppy, I think he's in Roaming Poppy, I haven't actually seen that in a while though, Jungle Mundo, and Top Twitch. Now, a lot of people think he's a troll, and his picks are not conformed to the meta. Some of them did become popular, like Jungle Mundo, but why does he do it, and is there anything wrong with it? And the answer is, he does it because it's fun. He enjoys the game and he likes playing it in his way. Now, he is not throwing games, he's not trying to lose games, he's not throwing games. He tries hard in all his roles. He just has a very, very specific playstyle, which is weird offbeat characters that are super duper aggressive, and he plays them in a way that fits him, which is super duper aggressive. Now, his Poppy is a bit extreme. His Poppy is incredibly divey, incredibly insane, and I love watching it, but not the safest thing to do. Would not recommend that for tournaments. Would not recommend some of the actions he does. But it fits his style, and he makes it work. Now, he's not doing tournaments. Tournament scene is entirely different, because all of a sudden the dives might actually be possible and successful, but he'd have a team built around him doing these actions. So in solo queue, you can kind of get away with what works if it doesn't require anybody's help. So he does these weird things, he does these fun things, and he's able to just take control because he knows what he's doing and he's a good enough player where even though he's going suicidal as Poppy, he's getting work done. Now, I just want to say, I like Rinsen as a player, I like his attitude, I like that he is not someone who will stick to a meta, who will conform and not have fun and get angry about the game. He just has fun, does what he wants, does what he likes, but not in a way that it throws the game or affects his team too negatively. I think everybody will be affected negatively if they don't like something, but that's not his fault that they have these perceptions. Anyhow, Rinsen, awesome player. That's about it. Also thanks because he's given me like free replays for this daily. Well, not this daily, but dailies in generals, and I've used them, so I love you, babe. Now, let's go hop in and start looking at Poppy in team fights. So we're back, and I want you to watch your chat really quickly. Look at the bottom left corner of the screen, and let's see what Rinsen's going to say in a sec. He keeps getting Awa with 5 HP. Now, assuming Awa means away, Rinsen knows his problem. The enemy team is going to escape all of his attacks. Now, he's trying to solve this two ways. One, he's picked up a Triforce. Two, he has red buff. In the future, he will also have a Youmuu's Ghostblade to help with the chase. But this is the big problem he's running into. He just can't stay on people. And this is a problem most tanky DPS or just initiators or people in general have. How do you stay on the enemy team? Poppy has a huge advantage in that she has an ability that makes her immune to CC, except from one player, but she's still getting kited on her way in, and the people she attacks ends up getting supported by their team. So this right here is just everything going well. That was a Phage proc and a red buff proc, and that right there was enough to just destroy Graves. In this fight, it's very hard to describe what happens. Pretty much, Poppy does her thing, gets a kill, Renekton does his thing, doesn't get a kill. And now the team is just so out of position, they're trying to go for Poppy, or not Poppy, but Shyvana. And over the top, Caitlyn manages to squeeze in and just kill Ahri, and they get Baron. This would be risky, but Janna didn't have to use her ult, so here come the heals. And awesome. Cool. Now what do they do? They can't rely on Poppy to always get Triforce procs. They can't rely on their team to do a whole lot against a tower. They don't have a very, very divey team. Poppy can dive, but the thing about Poppy diving is that no one else is going to focus Poppy. So if anybody falls behind her, they're gonna die. So Shyvana is the only person who can dive besides Poppy, but she's not going to be able to keep the enemy team in place. She can get there, but LeBlanc, Caitlyn, and Janna are going to have trouble actually following up. So they want to pick somebody off, and here they are camping a bush. I really like this. I think it's really funny. but if anybody that they want to kill shows up, then they're dead. So Warwick, Renekton, not good choices. Too tanky, they can counter-initiate. They don't need that. So they're waiting on like Sona or Graves. But unfortunately, Caitlyn gets in range of Warwick ult. Now, a quick note on Warwick after this fight. So it pretty much starts with Caitlyn getting caught, Shyvana gets caught after, and then Rincent starts this very long chase. They really, really want to kill him, but he's just so fast with that Triforce and his W. And LeBlanc just gets off an awesome pick. LeBlanc is a character people say is very, very weak mid to late game. The truth is he's only weak mid to late if there's no one squishing on the enemy team. And you can always blow one person up. But the big thing to watch out for is he's not easy to CS with, or she. So you need to be careful and make sure you keep getting your gold from CS. And if you play well, you can really keep up. Back to this game though. So Warwick got popular when he was recently changed to do the magic damage on his passive. Now, that's not huge, but it's enough to make him usable in a lot of cases. And the problem people have is they don't know how to deal with things they're not used to. So even though Warwick used to be huge right before DreamHack, and I believe during DreamHack, now that he got nerfed and hasn't been popular, people just didn't play him. And this is just a good pick from Rincent. I mean, Reap really didn't have much to do there except go as a team, but even then he wouldn't have been saved. So Warwick is someone who people just forgot to play against, and they forget about his ult. So making sure you keep up to date with all characters, even ones that aren't popular, will make you safer in these situations. That ult has huge range and people forget. Now this is the worst way Rincent can start a fight. And it's very, very demoralizing how this fight goes. So he's being ulted by Warwick, he got CC'd by Ahri. So before he can even get his ult off on Graves, he's at 1000 HP. His team is trying to kill Renekton because they don't want to dive the tower, because they can't. And they're not going to succeed. And now Rincent on Poppy has to kill this Graves on his own from 1000 HP. Now his passive will kick in, he will save a little bit of damage that way, but he's just not able to do enough. And he gets really close too. And this is when things get kind of scary when you're playing someone like Poppy. When you end up fighting one-on-one the person you want to kill, and it doesn't work. It's when you realize that that guy you need to dive can just kill you in response to your diving. So this chase, I mean, that was just a very bad team fight. They really went out of position to try and dive that tower, and they weren't able to get it. Shyvana is also going to do something very silly in a second and try and do Wraiths as the enemy team cleans up this fight. LeBlanc does get a really good Warwick pick. That was really good on LeBlanc's part. She's keeping up with her damage. And why Shyvana did that, I have no idea. So, how do you make sure you can keep killing people as Poppy? Well, that was just a case of bad initiation. But now Rincent's scared, as most people would be. What if he can't get that good initiation off? Well, this is going to be a case where the enemy team kind of lets him. So this fight isn't won because of mana. This fight is won just because they underestimate both LeBlanc and Poppy. So Rincent ults Sona just so he cannot get slowed by Graves as he kills him. He doesn't need that extra damage because he's so far out of position, and there's not a whole lot Sona can do. Sona actually gets the ult off, but it's a little too late, and it's such a short stun it wouldn't have mattered. So this fight is just awesome cleanup at this point. Ahri is being hurt by Poppy. Sona died to LeBlanc. And then we have this little exchange here. This is just the power of Poppy's passive. He dropped to 26 HP there, that Janus shield saved him. Great job. And right here, Renekton dives through him and does about 60 damage, bringing him to about 27 HP. And he lives. He lives through that fight because he has a very, very strong passive when you see its effects. If you die, you don't see its effects. But right there, he was taken to the brink and still survived. But the reason that fight went so poorly is they let LeBlanc and Poppy get into position to do damage. So if you let Poppy line up to put you into a wall, and you don't move, she's going to get amazing damage off. If you let LeBlanc line up to get all her skill shots off and just blow you up in half a second, you're going to get blown up in half a second. Now, this is a fight that it's scary for both teams. They know on purple side, if they dive in, Poppy's going to do her Poppy thing and do a lot of damage. So blue side tries to do this by getting initiation off on the right people. So Caitlyn's being ulted right now by Warwick. There's a big chase going on where all of purple is chasing blue side, and they're winning that fight. They got AoE off on Caitlyn, Janna, and LeBlanc. So they know they can just keep chasing them and they should win. Poppy and Shyvana split up here. Shyvana was going for Graves but had to back off. And Poppy does her Poppy thing. And this fight shows that, you know what, Rincent still has some kick in him. But not enough kick because Sona kills him. Unfortunately, Rincent doesn't have any Spell Vamp or Lifesteal, which I think is actually kind of a problem Poppy has. You need both. So he's not able to heal up during that fight, so Sona just kind of cleans him up. But he's still killing Graves, and that's huge. He was next to Sona. He was getting that attack, HP, and movement speed buff. So even when Graves is getting supported by Sona, he's still able to kill him. Now Sona can always do more things. She can get an Locket of the Iron Solari. She can get Shurelias. She can get things to help Graves get away or survive longer, or lifesteal like Zeke's. So that Sona can get stronger, but right now he's okay. And now this fight is entirely the effects of being out of mana. Unfortunately, Rincent didn't see all of it, but it starts out with a miss smite from Shyvana. Warwick is able to ult her and make sure they do not get Baron. But Ahri has no mana, Sona has no mana, and Graves is going to get poppied before the fight starts. So it's essentially 2 characters that can't do anything versus 4 characters from blue side. And don't forget that Graves is already dead. Graves got slammed into a wall, he got Triforced, he's gone. All the characters that had mana are now dead. And it's just great cleanup. Now, really, you can't do fights like this all the time. You can't assume your enemy will be out of mana. But the reason this worked was because this wasn't just one fight. This was chained off that long series of events. So you got to make sure when you're doing these Barons on reaction, and when you should be strong, you have the resources to actually fight. In this case, they didn't. I mean, having no mana on mana-hungry characters is pretty important, it turns out. So, once again, blue side is in a good position. They lost Baron buff, which sucks, but, you know, they're still doing well. Poppy can still do her thing. And Poppy actually just got an important item for that fight. A Warden's Mail. This means that if Graves fights back, he has no chance of kiting. Well, he has a chance of kiting if it doesn't proc on him, I guess, but you throw in Triforce and that gets a lot harder. So they want to keep pressing their advantage. They know they can't teamfight that well under a tower, but one good catch, and it's all over for purple. They can start going for the outer towers. It's going to be safe, but this fight starts. LeBlanc is ulted by Warwick, but they just blow Warwick up immediately on reaction, and they have this really sweet positioning where Janna is supporting from over the wall, and ults the team back and is ready to keep helping Caitlyn the second she flashes over. This was just really unique positioning, where one team was able to take advantage of the jungle walls, while the other was able to, you know, get some damage, get some kills, but it didn't matter because they had good positioning from the other characters. Caitlyn, Twitch, Kog'Maw, any character with a lot of range, like Tristana too, can really take advantage from firing over a wall. The problem is getting the enemy team to stay around and fight there, and in that case, they were baited so hard by the fact that it looked like they could kill everybody that they kept staying to fight. So, I mean, there really are situations where you go, oh man, we can kill these guys. We can kill LeBlanc, we can kill Shyvana. But they miss that Caitlyn the entire time will be shooting them and trying to kill them. So they got some more ground. They got one Nexus turret, and they just got a lot more gold from that. Caitlyn is now super scary and without a Quicksilver Sash because she accidentally clicked it. So if they wait for Quicksilver Sash or just have a good fight, they will win the game at this point. It does not take a lot to kill that one turret. And Rincent does his Poppy thing. And he actually backs off. Now, I was wondering why he did that. His Q cooldown wasn't going to be up when his ult came off cooldown, or off. So he wasn't going to be able to kill Graves, and he was going to probably get chain CC'd and die. Which may not cost him the game, but it'd be a setback. So, Graves blew his Quicksilver Sash. They did some damage. They're just going to try and take out some outer towers while they still have this strength, and wait for Poppy ult to come up. The enemy team is going to, dance around. Both teams want to start a good fight in their favor. If they know if they just kind of walk into each other, whoever walks in worse will lose, and it's not very easy to predict. I mean, like, right there, Rinsen could have dove on Graves, but he decides not to because he knows that the enemy team would be there to support him. And this fight is just the perfect fight. They get a little bit out of position, and Poppy just dives right back onto Graves. Renekton is trying to take down everybody from blue side, but he just doesn't have the damage anymore. And Poppy barely cleans up Graves. Renekton and Warwick are both dead now. And that just leaves Ahri and Sona to defend against 5 people. So right there, that's game. And purple side knows it, and they surrender. So this was Studio. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll see you Friday.